when I first got my, first big girl job, I actually worked for Six Flags, and I had an amazing boss who helped me grow into the leader that I am. His name was Bill Albright. And he said something to me. I'd been a manager for maybe 3 months at this point. And he said something to me that has changed the way that I operate in meetings and the way that I speak to my team for the rest of my career. And he goes, Mary, you have really valuable things to say, and I want to hear your opinions, but I'm always just a little bit scared to go into a meeting with you because you know what to say, but you don't know when to shut up. And it was such a challenge for me because I felt like to have a voice at all meant that I had to have an opinion on everything. I had to have the answer to every single question. And what that made me realize is that I can provide better value in meetings if I spend more time listening than I do talking. And that if I don't bring value to the table in that moment, it's okay to just be quiet. And it's okay to not say anything at all. It was such an impactful thing for me. But what it did do is as I started leading meetings, it allowed me to see the same characteristic in the people that worked for me, and they were wanting to bring value and they wanted to talk. And so I just want to talk to you today a little bit about how can you speak during meetings that provides value and that leads your team and makes that meeting more successful. So let's get into it. So at this point now, I've led over 2,000 people. I've run 7 different businesses. And I just want to share with you the top 4 questions that I think you should ask in every meeting that will help guide your team into giving you value and actually accomplishing. So rule number 1 is if you are talking for more than 50% of the meeting, you're probably doing it wrong. We definitely need to be spending more time listening than we are talking. And these questions will facilitate that type of thing. So let's start with question number 1. So question number 1 that you should ask anytime that you're having a one-on-one with a team member is, what's something that's slowing you down that I can speed up for you? This is really going to open the door for them to show you the challenges that they're facing, but in a non-confrontational way. So you don't want to say, why are you being so slow? And why can't you be faster? Or you're not hitting these deadlines. Tell me why not. Take responsibility as their leader and say, what is something that's slowing you down? What's a barrier in the business? Where is there friction? And how can I solve that friction for you? And if you'll ask that question in that non-confrontational way, you're going to get better answers every single time. They'll actually open up because now they don't have to own it like, well, oh crap, I screwed up again. No, there's a friction. There's something that's making this happen for them. Nobody wants to suck at their job, I promise. So have the conversation, find out what's slowing you down that I can help speed up for you. All right, question number 2. And this is a great question to ask, especially during like a performance review or a one-on-one or a success tracker meeting every 90 days if you're meeting with your team, which you should be. But that is, what was a big win for you since the last time that we met? I love starting meetings with this. I also like warning people the questions I'm going to ask before they sit in a meeting with me. But I tell them, they know I'm going to ask, what was a big win for you since the last time that we met? Give them a chance to brag. Immediately boost their confidence. You know, the thing that they realize and the underlying thought when you ask this question is that they have had a big win. You're not asking the question, have you accomplished anything since the last time we met? Or have you really done anything of value? No. You're making the assumption that they've had a big win and you want to give them a chance to tell you about it. Even if they've already told you about it and they're having trouble coming up with something, say, hey, don't you remember last week when you saved that customer? They were definitely not going to be ours anymore and you brought them back into the fold. Tell me more about how you did that. I want to repeat it with the rest of the team. Give them a chance to brag. All right, question number 3. So how can I be a better leader for you? You're giving them so much feedback. This is going to happen in every meeting. That's inevitable. Give them time and space to give you feedback. Now I'll tell you, here's a secret. You can't get defensive if they actually take you up on the offer. So you say, how can I be a better leader? And they say, well, I don't really love the way you communicate with me, or I feel like you're not present and I have a hard time getting in touch with you, or it seems like you're inconsistent in the way that you treat me versus the way you treat other employees. You can't react to those questions with defensiveness. You can't tell them that they're wrong. If you're going to ask them for feedback in a meeting, you have to be able to take it and receive it and have an open conversation. It doesn't mean you're going to solve it right then, but it does mean you can receive the feedback and say, I really appreciate you talking to me about that. I can understand your frustration. Give me some time to come up with a plan to be better in this way. And let's meet again. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do to improve. I'll tell you what my plan of action is to get better in this area that you just brought up with me. Get feedback. All right. Question number 4. How do you want me to hold you accountable? There's this myth that, and especially, depending on your generation, but in my generation, I am barely a millennial, but I fit into that millennial space. And we had this idea in our head as well, I am who I am, and you just have to accept me as I am. But guess what? That doesn't actually work when you're a leader. When you're a leader, it's your job to adjust your style to the people that you're leading. You don't get to treat everybody, you have to treat everybody with fairness, but fairness and the sameness is not, those two things don't equate to each other. You interact with people the way that works best for them. I've had team members who say, listen, if I do something wrong and you need to hold me accountable, I want you to sit me down face to face and say, hey, this is what's going on. Let's fix it. I've had other people that say, please don't do that. I will have a panic attack. I definitely want you to shoot me a text message and say, hey, this is a challenge that we're facing. It's something that I'd like to solve with you and that we'd like to work through together. Could we meet next Tuesday and talk through that, right? And give them a chance to kind of wrap their brains around it and be ready for the conversation. I've had some people who say, yeah, you don't need to sugarcoat things for me. Just send me a text message and say, hey, don't understand why you did this. Give me a plan of action to fix it. But I've had others where they didn't necessarily tell me, but I could tell that they need a positive sandwich every time. You're doing this really amazingly well. We have this one little challenge, but don't worry, your job's not at risk, but let's figure out a solution together. If you ask them and give them some examples of ways that you could hold them accountable, what you'll find is that it will open up a line of communication, and now it could break down some barriers of defensiveness and fear related to holding your team accountable because you've asked them. And you don't get to hold people accountable in the way you want to. You have to hold them accountable in the way that works best for them. And you are adaptive and customizable. You're a customizable leader based on your team. So that's question number 4. So I want to just kind of recap these 4 questions. Number 1, what's something that's slowing you down that I can help speed up? Number 2, what was a big win for you since the last time that we met? Number 3, how can I be a better leader? And number 4, how do you want me to hold you accountable? These are 4 great questions that you can ask, and that can really help guide the conversation towards them sharing with you instead of you dominating the conversation. So it's important to remember when to talk and when to shut up. And so this is one of those times that you can use these questions to really encourage the line of conversation to help your team be the best versions of themselves. If you want some more direction, or if you think that this is something that maybe you could use some help with, book a 20-minute strategy session with me. There's no cost to you. I love to just talk and help business owners. There's a booking link at the top of the description just right below. So if you click that booking link, you can meet with me. 20 minutes will solve the biggest problem that you have going on right now in your business.